Namaste yogis, welcome to your practice. I'm Steven from YogaWorks and I'm trying out a new location to film this online practice. It was really windy at the top in our beach yoga studio, so I decided to come to this deck. This is actually where I usually do my daily practice, and let's see how it goes for these online practices. What I would like to share today is an all-round feel-good practice, which I call the daily maintenance. Our job is not to go to our maximum today. Our job is to find what feels good in our body and to work at a sort of I would say a 70, maybe 80% kind of capacity. We're not going to go to the full end range. We're not sort of pushing the needle and going further anywhere. But think of this practice as if you brush your teeth. This is not going to the dentist. This is brushing your teeth. And if you think about it, no dentist can help you if you don't brush your teeth. So it's a little bit the same with your movement practice. No chiropractor or no physio can help you if you sit in one position, or you just do repetitive movements, or the other extreme, you're pushing yourself too hard and you're always doing arm balances and handstands. So this is finding a nice little middle note, a practice that you can repeat over and over again, and that is designed to feel really good. So it's a collection of things that I really enjoy, and hopefully we share a lot of those preferences. Good, I've got a block here. I'm going to put it off to the side. We might need it later, but if you don't have a block, don't worry. We always find another way. So come onto hands and knees to start, and then we just do some kind of cat and cow-like movements. I'm saying like because you don't just have to go forward and back, although that is a really nice feel-good movement, of course. But you can also go sideways, so you can move your hips and shoulders to the side. You can roll the shoulders around. You can roll the hips around. And I don't know how many other things you can come up with. You can go forward and back. I really like to circle around like this. You can place the hands a bit longer or further away from your knees if that makes it easier. Don't forget to go the other way, and then just move in a way that gets into some parts of the body that might be feeling a little bit restricted. Maybe you've just been working or traveling, or you're holding some stress in the body, and you're just sort of checking in which areas do need a little bit of your attention. Is it in the shoulders? Is it around the torso and the rib cage, or the spine? Is it around the hips or the neck? And we're going to be touching on as many of these areas today as we can. And then push back into downward facing dog. And if you want to make the down dog a little bit longer, or you can place your feet a little bit wider, maybe if your shoulders feel tight, and turn the hands out slightly. And then just again find what feels good and move around a bit. Maybe you can shift hips side to side, or the classic is to bend one knee, stretch the opposite heel down, and just get in there for a moment. You're just saying, hello body, here we are, you and me. You came to the mat despite everything you've been going through, and let's see what we can do to make you feel better. That's a good intention for this practice today. Good, and then step your right foot forward into, let's do high lunge. So if you can, keep that back knee up. And then bring right elbow under the left for eagle arms. You can still keep a little bend in that back knee if that feels better. Or you can start to straighten a little bit more through the left knee. And then we're not paying too much attention to all the finer alignment. So just come into eagle arms, feel a nice little upper back shoulder stretch. And then reach your hands back, clasp them behind your lower back somewhere. And then just pull the shoulders back, lift the chest forward. And then bring the hands together at the heart. So just do a gentle little twist to the side. We're going right, so it's left elbow over the right knee. Another breath or so, keep it simple. And then place your hands down And then just step back to down dog. Take a breath, move around again if you'd like to. And then step the left foot forward. Keep the right knee up unless if you need it down for extra support, that's also fine. And then let's bring left elbow under the right. A moment in eagle arms, just feel the space in your upper back and in different parts of the shoulder. And then interlace your hands, maybe go the opposite thumb on top, and then pull the shoulders back, just broaden the chest and the front of the shoulders. And a little twist, place the hands together. It's going to be right elbow over the left knee this time. And turn the chest to the left. Roll the top shoulder back. Good, lower the hands down, step back. Simple downward facing dog. And then a really nice version of down dog is to bend the left knee. And then look at the right heel and then turn it in towards the middle so it's all the way down and your right foot is at a 45-degree angle, more or less. And then push the hips up and back and then lean that right hip a little bit back behind you. At the same time, if you got space, you can look up under that right armpit. Keep the hands pushing down, especially that right hand is going to want to become lighter, so try your best to keep it heavy. And then return to the center. Let's go second side. Right knee bends quite a lot. Turn the left heel in towards the middle. Lean the left hip back. Press back through the hands. And maybe look up under the left armpit. Another breath or so. Find a nice stretch in the whole side body. And then return to down dog. You might already feel you've got a little more space to move around in. Few more breaths here. And then lift the right leg high. Bend the right knee and then you can lean into this a bit. Sometimes we try our best to keep the hips level or the shoulders level. Now today this is not necessary, just lean into it, even if it means you're a little bit off center or there's a little twist happening. We're just doing this to feel good, feel length in the sides and around the whole spine. Good. And then place the right foot all the way forward. This time lower the left knee down. And then a couple of times with the fingertips down, pull the right hip back and then move forward so you're rebending that right knee. And then just, you can think of it as flossing the muscles in the backs of the legs, hamstrings. You're getting into calves a little bit if you're lifting those toes at the end. And then just move forward and back and see if you can invite a bit of space into the back of the leg. Good. And then step back, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg high, bend your left knee, and then try to bring the left heel as close to that left buttock as you can. Lift the knee high and then lean into it so you can open to the side. If the left shoulder lifts a little bit above the level of the right, that's fine. And then stretch away. Where can you find space in the side body? One more inhale. Step the left foot forward. Lower the right knee down. And then same thing, you might need to wiggle that left foot a bit more forward so that when you come into the half splits, half Hanuman, that the distance makes sense for you. And then re-bend, do that a couple of times, just moving forward and back. And then just find your own version of these poses and movements. For example, if the left knee doesn't want to straighten all the way, then don't worry about it, keep it a little bit bent. And work within your capacity, that's fine. And then step back, downward facing dog. Good, inhale, lift the right leg high again. Bend the right knee, open the hip and lean back. Maybe look under the right armpit like we've done before. And then step the right foot all the way forward. Now come on to fingertips. Lengthen the spine, straighten the back leg. Now start to bend the left knee until it almost comes down. Maybe just feel where the mat is, and then lift it back up. And then do that a couple of times, slowly lowering down, slowly lifting up. It's a tiny movement, super simple, but quite effective at opening the front of that left thigh and hip. And especially if you repeat it maybe between 5 and 10 times, you're going to start to feel some good activation and length in the front of that left thigh. Good. Step back, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg high, bend the knee, open the sides, and stretch away. All these poses today should feel like yummy is just what your body needs. And then step the left foot forward, straighten the right knee, come onto fingertips. And then slowly bend the right knee until it just touches down. And re-straighten. Try not to move too much with the left hip. It can take away from the work you're doing with that right leg. So try to keep the left hip more or less stable in the same place. It's going to move a little bit, I'm sure, but don't let the left hip do all the work. Let's do 2 more. Slowly bend. Slowly straighten. If you do it slower, you're going to get more benefit from these movements. And then last one, step back, downward facing dog. Good. Now from here, you might need to walk a little bit closer in this down dog. Take your left hand to the outside of your right ankle or the lower part of the leg or your heel, wherever feels best. Hold on there. Bend the left elbow a bit and then look up under that right arm again. Try not to shift the hips to the side too much. Do your best to lift the hips up and back. Nice down dog twist. It's a bit of a demanding pose for that right arm. It needs to push down a lot. It feels so good when you come out. And let's go straight to the second side. Take your right hand to the outside of the left ankle. If you can't reach, then just walk a little bit closer until you can. And then with the right arm, I'm pressing into that ankle. I'm holding on. I'm bending the elbow a bit and then pull yourself under and twist to the left. With the hips, you're resisting moving to the left as well. So you're keeping the hips a little bit steady. One more breath. And then downward facing dog. Good. And place the feet a little bit wider and walk the hands back into a squat, malasana. And then for squat, you might need to turn the toes out a bit more or a little bit less. You might need to lift the heels so it becomes possible for you to even get into this pose. All of this is fine. Don't worry about tiny details like this. I can promise you, even if your heels are lifted, you're going to feel a lot of benefits of repeating these movements. And then ever so slightly lift the chest a little bit. And sometimes what I like to do, let me face forward, is just to shift side to side. You can use your hands down for balance and then just rotate one knee open and one knee closest to the middle. And there's really no right or wrong way to do these movements. You're just sort of checking in with how your hips are feeling today. And then a couple of times press your feet down, lift the hips, and then bend the knees and come back to your squat. Do that a few times. You're pressing away, straighten the legs, and then re-bend as if you're pulling your hips further down. Couple more times. Lift the hips up, lower the hips down. Let's do 2 more. Lift and lower. Last one, lift and lower. Good. Now slowly roll yourself up to standing mountain pose. come to the top of the mat. We'll flow through a few gentle sun salutations. We'll slow down the pace and we'll reduce the intensity a bit. Inhale, lift the arms. And here, if it feels good, you can lean back slightly just to open this whole front body a little bit more. And then open the arms, fold forward into standing forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Forward, flat back. Exhale, step the right foot back. Keep the right knee up. And then a couple of times, straighten and rebend. Straighten and rebend. So we're not doing a strict traditional versions of anything. We're modifying the flows so that it becomes just really enjoyable, really sustainable. And then step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank pose. Now lower the knees down. Nice. Instead of chaturanga, just do this. Lower the hips down, so you're hanging the hips down like a very lazy upward facing dog with the knees down on the mat instead of just the tops of the feet. And then just a little bit draw the shoulders back and the chest forward. Good. Slowly make your way back, downward facing dog. Take a breath. And then step the right foot forward a couple of times. Pull the right hip back, rebend the right knee. Nice and simple. We've done something similar with the back knee down. This is another version of it, so we're touching on lunge and pyramid pose without holding any of the two. Good. And step forward, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang the head down. Nice. Let's sweep all the way up with the arms. Maybe a little back bend. Palms together, hands to the heart. Nice. That's half a round. Let's do another one like this. Inhale, lift up. Maybe standing back bend. Open the arms. Fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Chest goes way forward. Exhales the left foot back this time. And then again, same thing. Flossing the hamstrings and the whole back of that right leg. And if it feels good, you can even let the front of the foot lift up as you go back, so you get a little bit more into the calf, the Achilles area at the back of the leg. Nice and simple. Don't make it too intense. You want to be able to do this every day for a very long time into the future. That's the idea of this practice. And step back, down dog. Inhale. Come forward into plank. Lower the knees. Just hang the hips down, let the chest come forward. You can untuck the toes and then just wiggle side to side until the chest can really broaden to the front. Good. Down dog, step back. Inhale, take a breath here. On the exhale, step left forward. And then just like we've done before, pull the hip back, rebend. Maybe front foot lifts as you go back, or just find an enjoyable variation of this rocking motion. And when we move like this, we're sending a signal to the body that everything is safe. There's no emergencies, there's no hectic pose that you've never seen, there's no really tough intensity. You can let go a little bit and step to the front, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale to fold. Let's go all the way up. Lift your arms, maybe a little back bend, hands to the heart. Inhale, rise. Maybe lift the chest to lean the arms back. Open the arms, swan dive down. Flat back, inhale. Right foot, step it back. Nice, with the right foot back, place the right hand down and reach your left arm back behind you. Nice and simple. Keep the right knee lifted and just twist back. A version of easy twist. And then place the left hand down. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale into plank. Lower the knees, untuck the toes. Lazy upward facing dog, you could say, because your knees are down. And then here, keep the elbows close to your side. Just start to bend them until the front of the thighs and the front of the hips touches down, which is cobra. You've just lowered down into cobra. See how nice it feels, because you came from the top. You're not lifting from the bottom and then trying to get higher. Slowly roll down. Press back to down dog. Inhale here. Exhale, the right foot forward. Reach the right arm back. Keep the left hand pressing down. Now stretch away to the right fingers like you're trying to get to your back foot. And then hands to the front. Step forward and fold. Flat back, lengthen the chest to the front. Exhale, fold, use your belly. Let's go all the way up. Lift the arms. Little back bend if it feels good. And then hands to the heart. Anjali Mudra. Half around left and we'll change it up. Inhale, open the front body. Open the arms. Dive down, take your time. Inhale, halfway left, strong back. Exhale, the left foot back. Reach the right arm towards your back foot, just like we've done a moment ago. And then right hand down, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank pose. Lower the knees. Broaden the chest. Hang the front body down like in a hammock between the knees and the shoulders. And start to bend the elbows. Don't go too fast until you feel the front of the hips, front of the thighs connect. That's a good cobra pose. And then lower back down. Downward facing dog, just press back. Inhale in the down dog. Exhale the left foot forward. Keep the right hand inside the foot. Reach the left arm back. Juice up that back leg a bit just to get some activation through the legs. And then lower the left hand. Step to the front. Fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to fold. Rise to the top. Reach through the fingers. Maybe lift the chest. The hips can even come forward. And then hands to your heart. Take a slow breath in. You can close your eyes if you like. Take a slow breath out. Nice. And then do mini chair. Like you're not really into it with your whole mind. You're just kind of hanging at the back of the class pretending to do chair pose. Today it's allowed. Remember, we're working at 70, maybe 80% of our capacity. And then take your right ankle. I'm not mirroring you, so it might look a little bit opposite. Take your right ankle to the left knee. Bend the knees a bit more so you can sort of sit back into your imaginary chair with your hips to the back. And then my favorite in this pose is just to lower the fingertips down. It's just much easier to balance. But if you're close to a wall or a nice little railing like this, then you can also hold on to that. Or if you have a husband or a partner nearby, you can use that. Make sure you're steady and then sit the hips back. And with the right knee, I'm gently pressing down on that standing leg. And just feel how nice it is. Just stay in one pose. It's a simple version. It's a nice hip stretch. We're not trying to balance. We're not trying to go into this funky arm balance that often comes after this. No, we're just happily hanging out here for a moment. And then come up. You can shake the legs out for a moment. And let's do half-assed chair, let's call it. Bend your knees a little bit just to pretend you're in it. And then left ankle on the right knee. Just activate the left foot a little bit and then sit back in the imaginary chair. Hold on to something, doesn't matter. or place your fingertips down on the floor if you've got access to that. And then just stay here for a moment. It's actually a really good outer hip stretch, especially if you do your best to lengthen the hips towards the back. Similar muscles to pigeon pose, which we'll do later. I always find outer hip stretches are like a daily staple in good maintenance of all the parts of the body. And then slowly come up, shake the legs out. Let's go straight into down dog. Just place your hands and step back. Nice. From here, step the right foot forward, lower the left knee down. Come into a simple lunge here. Nice. And then with the left arm, just present your arm forward. My elbow is against my lower ribs. Gonna reach your right arm behind, hold that left bicep, and then stretch the left fingertips a little bit forward. So this is pulling that right shoulder slightly back and down, which is ideal because our next move is simply going to be to lower left ear to the left shoulder. So I'm leaning away from that right shoulder, which is pinned down a bit by holding that opposite arm behind the back. And then just relax the head to the side. Take a few breaths into the side of your neck. Let the head just hang. Good. From here, gently release. Place the left hand down inside your front foot and then reach the right arm straight up for easy twist. Nice. For a moment, if you want to, you can hold that back foot. If that doesn't feel good, then obviously you wouldn't do that. But for me, it's also a good daily thing to stretch the quads a little bit, to work on a bit of length in the front of the thighs, especially if you've been sitting for a while. And then here you could choose, you could just keep that foot in the hand, or you could gently pull in a bit if that's still relaxing for you. Otherwise, keep it a little bit milder. Good. And then release the foot. If you're holding it, one last pose in this little sequence. Walk your hands over towards the top left corner, so it's on the diagonal, and just turn the chest down with the hands pressed down a bit on the floor or on your mat. Give your body a moment to soften down into this pose. And then slowly return to the center. Step back, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Good. Step the left foot forward. Lower the right knee down. Then come up into Anjaneyasana, the low lunge. Present the right hand, keep the right elbow close to your waist. With the left arm, we're reaching around, holding the right bicep, and then ever so slightly stretch those right fingertips forward. You'll feel that pins the left shoulder down, and then lean the right ear towards your right shoulder. Let the head just relax to the side. You're not trying to make the stretch deeper or more intense. You're just spending a little moment here. Good, easy twist. Release it, right hand down, left arm up, stretch up through the arm, maybe look up if your neck is happy with that. Either stay here or you can hold the back foot. Often I like to hold the outside of the foot, but the inside will work just as well for most situations. Either stay here or pull in a little bit more, whatever feels good. So this side feels a little bit tighter for me, so I'm going to back off a bit more than on the first side. Gently release that foot down, and then one more pose. Walk your hands to the top right corner and even off your mat. reach through the, especially through the left hand, press it down, turn your chest to the mat. Work with the breath just for a moment or two. Good. Slowly walk back, step back to downward facing dog. Nice. From here, step your right foot outside the right hand. Now take a bit of a wider stance. You can even turn the right toes off your mat so that the heels may be on the mat, the toes are off. And from here, with the right hand, gently press the inside of the knee away from you. At the same time, lean your chest back. Nice. Lean the chest to the opposite direction. Nice. Return to the center. Just wiggle that right foot in a bit. Now place the right fingertips outside the right heel or ankle, somewhere in that direction. If this is not happening, you don't feel like you have the space, then just lift up by placing a block under the hands here. This is where you might need that block. And then reach the left arm over the head. And what I like to do is often hold the back of the head here and then let the weight of the head open the side body. So I'm letting the weight of the head just lean back into that hand, and this whole side stretch becomes possible. And then slowly release. The hands come down, downward facing dog. Good, and then left foot, step it wide outside the left hand. Turn the toes a little bit out. That's with the left hand, I'm gently pressing the inside of the left knee away from me, and I'm leaning the chest in the opposite direction. As you can look up, you can turn into it a bit, whatever feels good. Just a nice, stretchy hip position. And then wiggle the left foot a little bit closer. Left hand goes outside the left heel. Remember, you can use a block for this. Reach the right arm over. So we're going to get into the nice long side bend. Maybe hold the back of the head. Lean the head back. Take another breath or two to feel the length in your sides. And then slowly lower the hands down. Step back to dog. Nice. For a moment, lower the knees down and move back to child's pose. You can make a pillow with the hands or reach the hands back. Just choose an option that feels good. And then slowly roll up, and you can choose which side you step, but just step one foot back or to the side of the mat so that you come into a wide-legged standing forward fold. Prasarita. So parallel the feet, hands to the hips as you slowly fold. And then there's a lot of options here. You can wiggle the feet a bit wider. You can walk the hands back in between the feet. You can hold the outside of the feet or the big toes. There's so many options. Just choose one that makes you feel this is a positive pose that you can hold for a little bit. If the head touches down, make sure it's quite light. You can even shake the head, yes and no, and even if it touches down, it should feel very loose and weightless. We don't want it to feel like a headstand, even if the head is touching down. Imagine the head is like a chandelier hanging from the ceiling of the rest of the spine, from the hips. And then slowly lift halfway up. Nice. We're going to Skandasana to one side. So first bend the left knee, start to walk over towards that left leg. You can stay up a little bit higher, but my preference is actually to lift the left heel. For some people that won't be necessary, but for me it is. And then straighten that right leg. Do something active with that right foot. And then with the left knee, I can pin the left arm inside it and get a little bit more openness to increase this angle between the two inner legs. And if you want to, you can lift the right arm up. Just open that shoulder, getting a nice inner thigh stretch as well. And then lower back down. Let's go over to the second side. Squat inside the right knee. The heel might be down, it might be up. Again, we're not worried about tiny details like this. I like to pin that right knee open with that right arm. Do something active with the left leg. And then if you want to open the left arm, lean into it a bit. I've chosen the whole collection of feel-good, stretchy yoga poses that get into all the areas of the body as a nice daily maintenance. Nice. Come back to the center. Now let's turn the toes out, the heels a little bit in. You might need to shorten your stance and then bend the knees and sink the hips down. Sink doesn't sound good, but just bend the knees to get the hips nice and low until you feel some nice inner thigh work. The quads are working hard, and keep the spine a little bit upright for now. Close your eyes. 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Place the elbows down on the tops of the thighs and then roll them a little bit towards the inside. If you want, you can press the knees back with your elbows, with your forearms. Or a version of the pose I quite enjoy is to hold the ankles with the hands. And you can still press away with your elbows to the inner knees. Nice. And then with the hips, I'm sitting back and down. So think back and down for the hips. With the chest and the head, I'm thinking forward. And it's almost like you're doing flat back with a different leg setup. Good. And then place the hands on the inner knees. You can choose how you turn the hands. I prefer the fingers down. And then roll the left shoulder down, lift the right shoulder up, and maybe look up over the right shoulder. And then turn the right shoulder down, lift the left shoulder up. You keep pressing the knees back with your hands. Sit nice and low with the hips. Feels so good that we're going to do this again. Left shoulder down, right shoulder up, sit low, and then right shoulder down, left shoulder up. Good. Slowly release the hands down. Just come right knee forward for pigeon pose. Stretch the left leg back. Come onto the top of that foot. And then press back through the hands. Lift the chest. We'll be doing 3 variations of this pose. The first one, actually the first few a little bit active. And then the last one, we'll just rest down a little bit. So the first option is just this. Lifting the chest, grounding the legs, nice and simple. Then variation 2, walk the hands over to the left on the diagonal, reach the right hand away from you even further, and then lower the chest down as you press down through the right hand. We've done a lot of side stretches, outer hip work, a bit of twists, a bit of shoulder work, a bit of neck stretches, just to get into all the parts of the body that tend to get a little bit bogged down because of lifestyle or repetitive movements. You can come back up, lower the left elbow down, and then from here just wrap the right arm around your back. Nice. For some of you it might be possible to hold that right foot there. For me that doesn't always feel so good. so just choose if you want to do that or not. And then slowly release just for a moment. Place your hands on top of each other and rest the forehead down. Let go of any muscular engagement. Sleeping pigeon. It's nice to work hard, but it's also good to sometimes back off, give yourself a little break. You're still here, you're still moving actively, you're still showing up on your mat, you're doing your practice, but you've changed the intensity so that it suits what you need at the moment, so that your yoga practice is sustainable. And then slowly lift up, press back into down dog, just to swap the legs. You can move around in between. And it's going to be left knee forward. So place your left knee behind the left hand and stretch the right leg back. Take a moment to slide into it and walk the hands a bit closer. Lift the chest, ground the legs. So with the legs, I'm almost pushing the mat away. You can do a little back bend if it feels good, so the shoulders can roll a bit back, chest can lift. You feel this nice front body stretch all the way from the back leg to the throat. And then side bend, so just walk your hands over to the top right corner, reach your left hand further away and turn the chest down and take a few breaths. As you press the left hand down, I'm also pulling the left hip a little bit away from that point. And then back to center, right elbow down. With the right hand, you can hold that left knee if that feels good, and then wrap the left arm around your back. Maybe hold his foot, or don't worry about it, and just enjoy the simple twist in your pigeon. Good, slowly release. Place the hands on top of each other. Rest the forehead. So good. How quickly can you just drop in completely? And then slowly lift back up. You can just roll onto that left outer hip and then sit with the legs wide for our last pose before we rest for a moment. Again here, wide-legged seated forward fold. Don't go to the very maximum. Go to about 70-80% of your capacity. We're not trying to impress anybody else with our extreme seated poses, if you know what I mean. Left elbow, roll it down towards your left knee. Or if you can, go all the way down to the mat. Both are fine. Reach the right arm open and then stretch the right arm overhead. Option one is just to hang out here. You can let that right arm be heavy. You can hold the back of the head like we've done before to get a little bit more traction into the side body. Or if it's available, you can check if you can reach the big toe or part of that left foot. If you can't, don't lose any sleep over it. If you can, then what I like to do is reach left arm to the opposite leg, so it's sort of out of the way. And you get this corkscrew action in your side bend. Nice openness in the whole right side body. And then take another breath or two in this delicious side bend. Slowly lift back up. Nice, let's go second side, right elbow towards the right knee. Or inside the leg, if it can go all the way down, that's also fine. Reach the left arm open, stretch it overhead. You know the options, you can just hang out here. Let the arm be heavy, or hold the back of the head. Or if it's available, hold the right foot somewhere. Maybe get the right arm out of the way and fold in. and you probably notice the two sides are not the same, so it might be a whole different story. Just sit with that, let the body, give it some time to receive the advantages of these poses. One more deeper breath, and then slowly release, lift back up, swing the legs around just so you can lie down on your back. Open the arms and legs, shuffle side to side until you're really comfortable, and then rest down in Shavasana. Isn't this the ultimate feel-good pose? I still can't believe this is a legitimate yoga pose. We're really lucky, aren't we? So the work is done. Rest all parts of the body down. Let go of any resistance or tightening or holding. And then check in on deeper and deeper levels. The body can surrender a little bit more, perhaps in the belly. What about the pelvic floor? The neck and the throat for sure. The tongue, the jaw, the shoulders and the neck. The eyes and the forehead. Just rest back. If you've got an extra 5, maybe 10 minutes for your practice, it will be amazing to just stay a little bit longer in Shavasana. If you had 45 minutes to practice and your time is up, then start to move your hands and move your feet. Bend your knees, roll over to one side, and then push up into sitting. Nice, let's close off the practice together. Place your hands together at the heart. Give thanks, touch your hands to your forehead, to your heart center, and fold, bow to yourself on the mat. Thank you for practicing, yogis. Namaste, everybody. I hope we've been able to touch on a few icky parts to have like a nice feel-good movement session as a total maintenance of the body. Come back to this often, and as always, thanks for practicing. See you soon.